In this video, we're going to take a look at some vulnerabilities around the authentication process in the InsecureBankv2 Android application. If you think back to the second video, we looked at how we could proxy traffic through Burp Suite, and we were looking for some insecure direct object reference vulnerabilities, or IDORs, and found a way that we could reset the password for any user without authorization. So there are some other issues with authentication, and we won't cover all of them today, because some of them have specific exploitation techniques that really deserve their own video. Today, we'll look at the developer backdoor and the hard-coded admin role. So at the moment, I have the APK opened in Jadux GUI, and we can basically look through the source code and try and find some vulnerabilities. What I'm also going to do is just log out of this application for now, because we want to go and try some different credentials. I'm in the do login function at the moment, and if you scroll down here, we're interested in the authentication. So if we want to find a way to bypass authentication or find issues with the authentication, we obviously want to go and find the code that's relevant to authentication. And in doing that, we'll find this one here. So we've got a login, so /login. But strangely, there's two HTTP post requests here. There's one for login, and then there's one for dev login. And then down here, we've got username and password, and it basically says if the username equals dev admin, do this login, otherwise do this login. So it seems to be a different procedure depending on what the username is set to. So if the username is dev admin, it'll go through to this dev login endpoint. If it's anything else, it'll go through to the login endpoint. So there's a couple of ways you might want to approach this. The first thing we could do is just go and try and log in with dev admin. Let's go back to our Android emulator. We'll do, it's a little bit laggy. We'll do dev admin. Let me just try it without a password. Log in, and we have logged in successfully. So it seems like the password doesn't matter if the username is dev admin. That's obviously extremely insecure, but what about if we just try to access this endpoint directly as well? So if we go back to Burp Suite, here we have a login. This was the original request. This is Dinesh, and I changed the password, so that's why this password isn't the default. Logs in, but what if we send this to the repeater? And let me change this first of all. What was the other person's name? Jack, I think. Let's do Jack. Send. Oh, it says correct credentials. Let me change the password. I'm going to change that to test. I must have changed the password for both of them. But anyway, there we go. So this is the incorrect password for this user. However, what if we change this to dev login and it says correct credentials? Let's try the same with Dinesh. Send, and that also says correct credentials. So in using this dev login endpoint, we're essentially able to log in with any user with any password. So why is this happening? Well, let us go and open up the server source code. I'm going to open this up in code. It is the AndroLab server and app.py. We can open this up and just see how it's responding to these different endpoints. We have this login one. It takes in the username, and then it's going to basically check the database to see does the username match the password on that row. And then you've got get accounts, you've got change password, you have got dev login. Here we go. So dev login, it takes the username, and then it responds correct credentials, and that's it. So there might be some other vulnerabilities in here. Maybe we'll have a look at the do transfer and see if there's any way we can transfer money from somebody else's account to our own. And we could also have a look at the change password procedure. In fact, we already noticed that we can do that without authorization. That was part of the second video that we did. But this is one way that we can bypass that authentication. Let's take a look at another. So let's go back to Jadux and go into the resources. We'll go into resources.arsc, res, values, and then strings.xml. And a lot of the stuff in here isn't going to be relevant. You can see here we've got a lot of stuff, common Google Play services, enable, things like that. So they're not going to be any interest to us. But if we scroll down towards the bottom, we have some other things. We've got server IP, server port. This is just for the strings, so these are just labels, like label for password and for username. However, above that, look at what we've got. We've got is admin, and it says no. So an obvious thing might just be to go and try and change that to yes, and to see how it alters the behavior of the application, if at all. But in order to do that, we need to essentially modify this file and then rebuild the APK. So we've done that a couple of times. We did that to bypass the root detection. We also did it to fix the root detection before that. So now we're just going to do the same thing again, and we're going to see how the application behaves once we've made this change. We want to decompile the APK. So I'm going to take a copy of it. Let me copy it from Android Insecure Bank to the desktop. Oh, that's not how you copy a file. And then we'll do APK tool D to decompile, pass in the APK name, and then it's going to put all this into a folder. Notice I'm using this dirty version, so if you've watched the videos where we've used this before, you're going to know that in order to rebuild this, I'm going to have to go and get the proper version. So we'll do that again, as always. But for now, let's open up the InsecureBankv2, and we can have a look through the directories in VS Code. If we go into, oh, clicked the wrong one. If we go into res, go into values, we're looking for strings.xml. We're going to find this is admin flag and set it to yes. And then we'll save that. I'm just having a look to see if there's anything else of interest here. I don't see anything. Let's save that. Let's close it. Now if we try and do APK tool build InsecureBankv2, then it's going to try and do it with this dirty version. It's going to come up with an error, so let's go and download the proper version. You might wonder why I do this in every video. It's just in case people didn't watch the previous videos mostly. Also because I reset my VM after making each video, so you'll notice that there's also a rooted device again on the emulator. So let's download it. It didn't work as expected, so we'll download it, then do java-jar, and then pass in that name, so APK tool, B for build, and then we'll pass in the folder name. That's going to build it. We need to go and get the built APK, so where is it? It's in dist. There we go. Copy that to the desktop. And now we want to install it, but first we need to sign it. So we have to generate a key store and stuff to do that. Let me copy and paste the command, and I'll get rid of this so you can see it a bit better. We're simply going to use the key tool to generate a key store, and then we give it a name, we give it an alias, we tell it that RSA is the algorithm, hit enter, put in a password. I'm going to use Intigriti, which is like the hardest thing to spell just because of all the like I's and T's and that. Okay, and then enter, 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 yes. There we go, that's it generated. And now we need to sign it. So I'm going to clear this, and we're using jar signer. We're passing in the key store we just generated and the APK and then our alias. And that's it, it asks us for the key store alias. We enter that in and it gives us the self-signed APK. So now we just need to uninstall the APK and then reinstall it. You can do that through the emulator, or you can do it through ADB. So we can do ADB uninstall com.android .InsecureBankv2, which you can just grab as well from JADX. If you go to, here we go. Oh, where is it? Let's go to one of the classes. Com Android InsecureBankv2. And that's it. It's going to uninstall, and then we're going to do ADB install and provide the APK that we just created. Oh, it doesn't give me autocomplete, so I'm going to copy and paste that. This is something I do every time. ADB install. Again, you can just drag it onto the phone and then install it that way, but this is fine also. Alright, so that's it installed. Let's go and see how this app behaves differently to normal. We open it up, not that one, oh no. That was our routing of the device. And look at this, we've got create user. So that wasn't there before. We only had the login, and if we go to create user, it actually says it's still in progress, but the idea, I guess, is that if this was implemented, then we would have a way to create our own user onto the system, and we just have to assume that that is the case. Anyway, that's going to wrap it up for what has been quite a short video. In the next one, we're going to look at how we can bypass that login mechanism by exploiting Android activities. And I hope you've enjoyed this video. Just a reminder, if you want to go and sign up for the Intigriti platform, the reason we're making these Android hacking videos is we want to try and encourage bug bounty hunters who spend a lot of their time on web to branch out to some other areas which might receive less attention from the bug bounty community in general, and therefore have more vulnerabilities, less duplicates, and all that good stuff. Anyway, yeah, hope you've enjoyed it. Any questions or comments, leave them below. Thanks.